A very good morning to all. Hope you all are enjoying this winter season. So, in order to energize you all with a hot cup of positivity today, we have now decided to conduct a session on the importance of positivity on your personality. And this session will be conducted by our guest speaker, Dr. Fouzia Alsabah Sheikh. And so, before we delve into this enriching discourse, it is my pleasure to welcome our guest speaker and just introduce her briefly. Working as an assistant professor at Amity University at Haryana, she is also a master hypnotist from the California Institute of Hypnotherapy. And apart from that, she has attended various conferences and has to her credit a number of publications and research papers along with book chapters and articles. So, and yes, apart from that, she has also been invited as a keynote speaker to various universities and colleges. So, we are honored to have you with us here, ma'am, and it's all over to you.
Thank you, Neha ji, and thank you so much, Integral University, for having me connected with all of you. It really feels great to be connecting with the students, with the faculty members, and all those who are listening to this live session. I hope I'm able to share my knowledge, my understanding of positivity. Uh, we talk about positivity very easily, very effortlessly, but yes, in our own lives, we know how difficult it is to be positive. It is an easily said than done concept, and it's
Absolutely.
even more difficult to lecture about it, because it's more of a doing thing. It's more of a being thing. uh, Nonetheless, the little bit that I have learned, known from my experiences about positivity, I would be sharing that with you. Just don't think me to be an expert or a master of positivity, because just like all of you, even I am learning every day to be a positive person, a positive personality. So, without further ado, I would share with all of you my notes about positivity and the topic that was assigned to me to talk on: positivity, what it means, what is its importance. And while I'm talking about positivity, I would automatically be contrasting it with negativity. So, are we ready? Okay. So, what is positivity? When I was asked to prepare myself to speak on this topic, I was looking for various definitions, and there were so many wonderful, enriching, enlightening understandings from various researchers, from psychology, from neurosciences, from management, who had given such wonderful explanations about positivity. But I thought of making it simpler, and I thought of bringing in the simplest of the definition of this multi complex concept, positivity, to you. So I define positivity not in the best possible way, but in the simplest possible way, as the tendency to embrace, adopt, and enact or perform positive thoughts, emotions, and even actions. Right? So easy to say, no? Tendency to adopt, perform, think, act, and that too positive. Easily said than done, right? So, positivity, from the research that I reviewed, I also found it to be a sum total of our mind body interaction. For short, I name it MBI. So, as psychologists, as scholars, as learners, as students of psychology, we're always told about the mind body integration, right? That there has to be harmony between mind, and there has to be harmony between mind connects with our body and vice versa. So, yes, positivity is about the symphony between the interaction between mind and body. And not just that, this interaction, MBI, how it engages with our environment and how our surrounding environment impacts our mind body synchronization. That also has a lot to do with our so called positive emotions, thoughts, and actions, right? Now, this is becoming really very, very complex. Like I had said, positivity is not all that simple as it sounds, right? So, the question is, this question came to my mind when I was reviewing various research studies and lectures by different life coaches. Who has the remote control of positivity? Who is mastering, who is operating our positive thoughts, our positive emotions, our positive actions? Is it our psychophysiological systems? Is it our MBI? Right? Is it our nervous systems, sympathetic, parasympathetic? Is it our sense organs? Is it our internal organs? Is it our external body organs? Or is it the environment, the milieu in which we live? Who has the remote control? Right? Difficult question. I think all of us would be giving some amount of accountability to MBI and some amount of accountability to our environment. The choices we make. So, who has the control? The control lies with us. What research also says that the control of positivity lies with us. And that control is basically the choices we make. Now, the question is, are all the choices, be it positive thoughts, actions, feelings, emotions, belief systems, values, decisions, problems, solutions to problems, are all these choices that we make, are all of them positive? Probably not. Yes. And most importantly, what makes a choice positive? If at all we are indulging, if at all we are calling our choices positive, what is it that qualifies a choice to be positive and not negative? Have you ever thought of that? I'm sure most of us do think. And maybe some of us may not really be thinking about it. Why are we considering this particular choice, this particular act, this particular decision to be positive? What is it? Do we like to do it again and again? Does it make us feel happy? Does it make us feel successful, an achiever? Does it make us feel uh, worth doing it? Does it make us feel relaxed? Does it make us feel free from our worries, our fears? Why are we doing it? Why are we choosing them? What makes them positive? So, yes, as a psychologist, I've always understood and always got convinced with one fact that all the philosophical, just a minute, I'm just taking a lecture, thank you. All the choices, all the decisions that we take, everything that we have got to do in our life, as a psychologist, I've realized that it has a lot to do with our physiology. So, when we talk about these philosophical, subjective phenomenon perspectives like emotions, feelings, choices, decision making, we always have to understand that there is a significant amount of physiology, of biology going on behind it. So, what makes a choice positive is the fact how much rewarded we feel when we make that choice, when we make that decision. So, whatever we decide to do, whatever we decide to indulge in, take up on, maybe preparing for an entrance or for an extracurricular or blogging or indulging in a sport or learning a new language or texting my friends, scrolling up my Facebook, putting up statuses on WhatsApp, Instagram, social media. calling up my friends, making my favorite meal, having my favorite meal, right? Everything that we do, every choice that we make becomes positive to us when we feel that it gives us pleasure. It is rewarding. It makes us feel nice. I want to do it again and again. So, what is the reason as to why we feel certain choices, certain decisions, certain activities rewarding, pleasurable? That is because a human brain, as you can see in the illustrations that I've presented to you, from a very integral uh, source, online source, there are rewarding centers in our brain that are responsible for the production of a neurotransmitter called dopamine. I know all of us are talking left, right about dopamine. Yes, so it's a good era to be so informative, to be accomplished, and to be surrounded with so much of good information. I'm sure all of us are reading about dopamine. Those of us who have not, maybe today you can know what dopamine is. It's a neurotransmitter that is released and it spikes up. It increases whenever we do an activity that is pleasurable. And then the same reward circuits in our brain, they yearn for more dopamine. And therefore, we feel this urge to do that activity again and again, to make those choices again and again. So, when dopamine is produced in our rewarding centers in the brain, they are released by the neurons. You can see the green dopamine chemical that are transmitting from one neuron to the other. And therefore, an entire reward circuit network is built by our nervous system in our body. And we have that urge to go for our perfect food, perfect meal, perfect WhatsApp activity, perfect book, meeting my perfect friend, going for my most desirable shopping center, right? So, this is the dopamine story that is behind every choice which we find pleasurable. And when we find them pleasurable, we feel rewarded, we feel happy, we feel satisfied. But does it end there? No. There is no end to satisfaction. Because the dopamine story is that we want it more and more and more and more. So, can you, students, scholars, everyone today listening to me, can you think of various activities, be it thoughts, emotions, feelings, which you find pleasurable for a moment? Can you think of those activities which you find very, very pleasurable, very, very positive? They make you feel nice, they make you feel indulging. And are they positive? And do they qualify to be positive? Can you think of everything that you feel pleasurable, positive? The important thing is that I want us to understand, and that I also make myself understand from time to time, that everything that I find pleasurable, everything that I find pleasurable is not positive. Everything that is pleasurable to me, everything that is getting rewarded in the brain by the rewarding center, does not qualify to be positive. So, what qualifies to be positive? You see, there are so many things that we are doing and we are feeling, we're doing them addictively. Scrolling, excessive screen time, junk food, sedentary lifestyle, isn't it? But do all of them, they are addictive, they're pleasurable, they make us feel nice, they don't help, they don't want us to move out of our four corners, four walls, and explore the world. But do they qualify to be positive? What kind of impact do they have on our mind body synchronization? What kind of impact does it have on the association between the MBI and the environment? So, certainly, not all choices deserve to be called positive. So, what is positive? So, I have borrowed today my presentation. I have inspired my presentation from the concept of positive emotions. Positive emotions, a concept that has been proposed by American psychologist Barbara Fredrickson. And Barbara Fredrickson, through her research studies, was able to establish that there are a set of positive emotions. There are indeed some set of positive emotions. And why do we call them positive? Are they positively charged? Why? Why are certain emotions, certain states of mind, certain feelings, certain indulgences, certain tendencies, certain traits called positive? According to Barbara Fredrickson, positivity opens us. They open our hearts, minds, and make us more receptive and more creative. So there are certain positive emotions that are indeed making us positive in nature, that help us combat the excessive rewarding tendencies of the dopamine secretion in the brain. They help us rationalize our production and usage of the rewarding neurotransmitter. So, like I said, the remote control lies in the choices and lies in us, in with us. What choices are we making? So, positive emotions are certainly the key to being more positive. So, Barbara Fredrickson in 2001, in one of her research papers, had actually spoken about her theory, her proposition about positivity. Her theory's name is broaden and build theory. So, those of us who are reading about positive psychology would be more aware of this. So, according to this broaden and build theory, there are positive emotions, as you can see in this diagrammatic illustration. There are positive sets of emotions. They broaden us, they widen our thoughts, activities, our relationships. They help us build upon our support system, our resilience level, our knowledge, so that we can deal with adversity, with stressful times better. And when this happens, it also impacts, our increased support, our enhanced, amplified, improvised support system helps us improve our health patterns, our lifestyles, makes us feel more content. There's a sense of fulfillment. And this sense of fulfillment triggers again the positive emotions. So it is cyclical in nature. Now, if I have to revise my definition, which I gave earlier, you can see positivity is a cyclical process, right? It is a circle, a chain of events that is happening that starts from these positive emotions. So, as identified by Barbara Fredrickson in her own research studies, the different types of positive emotions, which are now also known as different types of positivity, are joy, gratitude, serenity, inspiration, hope, love, awe, amusement, interest, and a sense of pride. So, they are positive because they widen our horizon of reasoning, they widen our horizon of thinking, of problem solving. They make us more perseverant in times of stress and adversity. They calm us. They build our attention spans. They broaden our attention spans. They help us calm our own bodies. They build our endurance levels, our threshold levels. And there are all scientific studies that are now proving that these emotions are actually having a very positive, significant impact on our psychophysiological systems. Right? We are not just the slaves of the dopamine rewarding center of our brain. We get the control of that rewarding system in the brain. if we are indulging in these different types of different forms of positivity. So, this is another interesting research study that I came across, which was done by Barbara Fredrickson. It was an 8-week study in which there were two groups, one that received the meditation therapy for building more kindness and compassion, and the other group was the control group that did not receive the meditation therapy. And as you can see, the dotted line, that is the control group, they did not report over a period of 8 weeks, their tendency to experience positive emotions declined. Whereas the meditation participants, their tendency to experience positive emotions improved. And they were found to be kinder. They reported themselves to be kinder and more compassionate individuals. It's an interesting piece of research study. And if you can get a chance to read it, certainly go through it. All the positivity that we talk of are not just philosophical subjective concepts. They're also being researched by researchers across the world in different laboratories across different countries, and there is a lot of cross-cultural perspective, multinational perspective also that is coming on positivity. There are different countries that are reporting to be happier in comparison to each other. So happiness quotient is also being counted, right? So whenever I take a lecture with my own students at my own university, I always try to come up with an activity. So I suppose students today are listening to my address, and I have an activity for you, which is not a rocket science activity. It is a very, very simple activity. It will give us a moment to introspect, right? So the first question, there are some questions as you can see on the screen, right? So all that you have to do is just answer it in your own mind. There's no right or wrong answer, right? This is an this is just an introspective exercise. So the first question is, do you feel content with your life? And which aspects do you feel content with? What are the most satisfying areas of your life? And which areas are you not really very content with? Maybe there is more scope for improvement. Maybe it's a work in progress. That's the first question. Have you thought of it? For every question, I'll give you some time. The next question is, how do you spend your leisure time or your free days? So weekend is coming, it's festive season, Christmas, New Year. So a lot of free days for students coming up, right? Or am I being unfair calling a student life a free day life? No. Students today, of course, have a lot of stress. I can understand. There is a lot which students are expected to do in today's times, more than we had to do in our own times. So, how do you spend your leisure time? The little bit of free time that you get, what do you do in that time? Next question is, how often do you confront your fears? I'm sure all of us are afraid of something or the other. There are many things that we feel anxious about. We avoid them. Yes, kash ye nahi hota, this should not happen. Let's avoid this. Oh, I'm really scared of this. Kahin aisa na ho jaye. We dread something or the other in life. But how often do you confront your fears? And the last question is, do you practice kindness? Again, like positivity, kindness is also a very, very regular term. But I know practicing kindness is a different ball game altogether. It's not that easy. So, do you practice kindness? And yes, few more questions. Sorry, that was not the last question. Two more questions. Now, here you have to close your eyes. I hope all the students are doing this. Close your eyes and imagine your own face or your own self. What is the visual? Have you done this? Are you doing it? Have you been able to do this? We'll take a moment. I would want all the students and everyone listening to this to close their eyes and just imagine their own self. It would be good if you can imagine your own face. What is the visual? Just hold that visual, the imagery of that visual, of yourself, of your face. You can open your eyes. I'll come back to that question again. The last question for sure is, do you find meaning in your own life? Oh, what a heavy, heavy question this is. Don't think I have mastered this question. Even I'm finding everyday meaning to my own life. Do you find meaning in your own life? And what makes you feel so? Whether you find it meaningful, why do you feel so? What makes it meaningful? And if you don't find it very meaningful, again, do think about why you think so. What is subtracting meaning from your life? What is it that is deducting purpose from your life? So, this is the positive persona toolkit, right? Now, let me decode this toolkit for all of you. What was the first question? How content are you with your life, right? So, the key to this is practice gratitude. Whatever bit we have in life, just take cognizance. Since childhood, we are told to follow traffic rules, right? We're told to follow rules like traffic rules. That look at the red light, it means stop, stop, right? So, similarly, in life, we need to understand whatever we have, take cognizance of that and appreciate it. Practicing gratitude is not just about saying thank you to people, it is also about having a sense of appreciation of whatever we have in life. So, take cognizance, pause, whatever you have today, just appreciate it. That I'm thankful, I'm happy that I have it. It feels great to have this in life. It can be person, opportunity, place, anything. Food, clothes, right? So it's very important. We talk about mindfulness. The key to mindfulness is gratitude. Taking cognizance of whatever we have at the moment and just appreciating it. Right? You don't need to announce it from the rooftops. You don't need to make it a big shout out. You can just tell yourself that I'm thankful, I'm happy I have this. Because the more you practice gratitude, remember, it is going to make you feel more and more rewarding. Again, research has established that gratitude is is a sensory neural rewarding experience. It is not going to make you just feel pleasurable for no reason. It is going to make you feel rewarded. It is going to increase the dopamine. So practice gratitude and secrete dopamine, because then there'll be urge for more practice of gratitude, right? Remember, we have to signal our neurotransmitters to be released at the right time for the right kind of actions. So gratitude is the number one master skill that we all need to do on I think on a daily basis or whenever we can. Just remember, practice gratitude. If you can go across and appreciate someone, that would even be great. If somebody helped you, go express your thankfulness. And even if you cannot go to that person and acknowledge, you can still appreciate what the person did in your own mind, right? So that is going to make us, that is the, I feel, the stepping stone towards positivity. The second question was about what do you do in your free time? So I know most of us would be, of course, scrolling, indulging in screen time, if I'm not wrong. Yes, sometimes even I do that. Not sometimes, most of the times, even I do that. Not all screen time is bad. There is a good screen time and a bad screen time. We need to understand the difference between the two, right? But the way we spend, the quality of free time that we spend is also extremely, extremely important, because that again has a lot of impact on the rewarding circuits in our brain. So pursue a hobby, learn a skill, indulge yourself in constructive courses, personality building courses, learn a new language, learn baking, learn anything that interests you or something that is different, unique. Give it a try and indulge your free hours also in the right kind of rewarding activities. The third one is, do you confront? Your question was, do you confront fears? So the key to that is, we often find fear dreadful, but the truth is that fear is a survival response. We have been wired to feel afraid of adversity, of stressors. Fear is the immediate reaction that we experience whenever we encounter a threat or a danger, right? So it is telling us about the risks around us. And what do we end up doing when we understand the risks? We completely try to avoid it. We indulge into escapism, or we go into unhealthy coping mechanisms like smoking, substance abuse, excessive screen time, self isolation, self blame, right? These are the unhealthy ways of dealing with fear. They provide momentary pleasure, but in the long run, they're not good for us. So we need to understand, first and foremost, that fear is just a survival response. It is just preparing us to learn to deal with it better, not to escape and avoid it altogether. So the key to confronting our own fears is, let's pursue creativity, take risks, try something unique, unusual, out of the box. It will be a little painful in the beginning, not very pleasurable experience in the beginning, but in due course of time, you will learn to be friendly with your own fear and anxieties. Right? The fourth question was, do you practice kindness? Right? So we often talk about being kind, empathetic, try to understand a person's problem from that person's perspective. But is it that easy? Personally, I don't find it easy. You'll be surprised, as a psychologist, I'm saying this. Empathy is hard. What is even harder is practicing compassion. What is the difference between empathy and compassion? Empathy is only up to the point when we are just able to understand a person's pain. That's important for sure. But merely understanding a person's pain is not important. Participating in a person's pain, in a person's adversity, helping that person come out of adversity or in that difficult moment is compassion, and that is very, very important. So we need to help someone. In simplest terms, what I'm trying to say is help someone. It can be anything. It can be helping your friend in times of distress, in difficult times, your family members, your community, your neighborhood, your university, right? Or you can even be, you can pursue charitable acts, raise funds, go, do something of this kind. Help understand other people's problems and participate in that. Be a problem solver. This century is all about being able to solve problems. Today, uh, it's not just about all the information that we have. Information can be overwhelming. There's too much of information that we have. What is important for us is how we're able to help people with our information, right? Are we problem solvers or are we just problem cribbers and problem creators? So, as psychologists, we need to understand that we are helping professionals. Our job is that to ultimately help people, right? Yes. Do you smile often? How many of you are smiling right now? I don't know. I can't see all of you. But again, there is a lot of science behind this. It is very important for us to be smiling. When you visualized yourselves, when I asked you to close your eyes and visualize yourself, how many of you imagined yourself to be smiling? You had a smiling face, you were sporting a smile. How many of you were looking happier? How many of you were not? So, there is this very interesting theory in psychology. Most of us are aware of that. Uh, it came in support of the James Lang theory of emotions, right? The facial feedback hypothesis. The more we practice looking positive, the more we practice positive facial expressions, it actually makes us more and more positive. It actually improves our positive emotion quotient. So indulge in smile. Indulge in the genuine Duchenne smile, right? This is again a very interesting concept, the Duchenne smile. So if you Google about it, you'll get to know more about it. There are different types of smile. One is the genuine Duchenne smile. When you smile, your cheek muscles, they reach the corners of your eyes. That's a genuine andar ki wali, smile, the inner smile, the natural smile. And then there are different other types of smiles, which are not very genuine smiles, right? So indulge, practice smiling. Initially, it will not be the Duchenne smile, but if you make it a habit that you greet people, meet people, even if you don't know them, if you just look at them with a smile, it makes you a positive person because the physiology that is going to happen inside is going to be positive, right? And this is a little activity for all of you. Uh, this is the value star chart. You can draw it on a sheet of paper, right? And this star has got 6 measures, 6 domains, right? Health, family, lifelong learning, relationships, creativity, contribution. These are the different areas of your life, okay? And I'm sure for each area, you have some goals, you have some values. For health, you would be having something. Maybe you would want to sleep better, or you would want to eat lesser junk food. I'm sure all of us would be having goals and some values in each aspect of our life, right? So each domain, each measure has 10 points. It starts from zero. You can see zero at the center, and it has got 10 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. So every domain has got 10 points starting from zero. So I would want all of you to just think for yourselves how you are doing in each domain. Are you fulfilling the goals, the values of each domain or not? And accordingly, give yourself a point and plot your mark on that domain. So suppose you want to give yourself on health 6, then plot a dot on the sixth point on the scale in the health domain. Similarly, plot your mark in family, lifelong learning, relationships. I would request all of you to do that now. It's a simple activity. And then, after you have plotted your points for all the domains, just join them, align them all, and produce your own star and see what kind of shape your star takes place, right? It's just a self exploration exercise, which I often use in my counseling sessions with my clients and my students. It just helps us introspect ourselves better, where all we need to be more positive, right? where we can make the improvement, and where we are doing a good job and we can keep up the good work, right? So, on this note, I would like to say thank you for all of you for your patient listening. I hope I have been able to share my understanding. I'm sure there is a lot that I could have shared with all of you, but I just thought of making it a little compact and a little more comprehensible for all of us. Thank you once again, all of you, Integral University, Department of Psychology, for having me here with all of you. It was indeed a pleasure interacting with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm sorry from before if my network goes away because our network here is unstable little today. And ma'am, I would just like to tell you that here at Integral, we have a paper specifically for positive psychology. And our students, they'll be having an exam on 26th. And through your lecture, I'm sure our students will be greatly benefiting because you not only focused on the theories, but also on the practical aspect, including the activities and the toolkit. Like the best part what I found was the toolkit that you mentioned in your PPT, transforming into positive personas. And I'm sure that the faculty and the students whosoever has joined today's lecture, to a certain extent we all have definitely transformed into a positive persona, all thanks to you. And on that, I would just ask students, if you have any questions or queries, you could just post on the chat if you would like to uh, know something. Ma'am, you're getting a lot of compliments on our chat. Like, definitely, the lecture was very
Thank you. Thank you.
comprehensive, especially the activity, that star activity at last, which you did. Most of our students, psychology students, they want to be a psychologist. So I would just tell them that कि अपने आप counseling session में आप इसकी एक copy रख सकते हो, वो star activity, and you can ask your clients to rate your happiness, your positivity. And apart from that, another thing that I really liked was when you said that line, like that line really hit me, when you said कि आपका जो remote control of your happiness lies within you. So that is something that I really pondered over. Ki it is absolutely so true. Ki
True.
it's just like the steering wheel, है ना? जब हम drive करते, the steering wheel is in our hands. अगर हम right पे लेंगे, so we'll go to the right. So similarly, we search for happiness here, we search for positivity here and there. और अक्सर क्या होता है कि जब हम लोग लोग अब कुछ प्रॉब्लम होती है लाइफ में, तो हम किसी से कहते हैं कि वी टेल अबाउट अवर चैलेंजेस, लेकिन लास्ट लाइन जो यूजुअली लोग कहते हैं कि यार ये पॉजिटिव रहो, खुश रहो, लेकिन कोई ये नहीं बताता हाउ टू इनकलकेट दैट पॉजिटिविटी इन आवर लाइफ. बट थ्रू योर lecture, the strategies that you told us, है ना, कि gratitude, then being contented, and how you should be using your leisure time in rewarding activities. So all these things I've actually made proper notes of that, because I myself would be implementing in my life, and I'm sure that the students who have joined today, they too would be doing that. So thank you so much, ma'am, for your such a comprehensive and enlightening lecture.
Thank you for your kind words. I just wanted to add on what you summarized so nicely from my lecture.
Sorry, ma'am, you would like to add
These are
something?
not
Haha.
actually. I would not even want to call this as lecture. I learned a lot. Like most, yeah. I just wanted to add that these are sharings from my own life. This is not anything new that I have said. All the life coaches are talking about it. But when I chose to share about this because when I started practicing these, I became better positive person. I could feel it. So
Absolutely.
I will only say one thing, that when we start practicing it, you literally start feeling good about yourself.
Feeling.
Your body will be also like this. You'll be at calm, at composure. You'll be like,
Composed.
okay, fine, I'm okay with it. I'm all right. I mean, there you develop that sense of patience with what is going around. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
during COVID, I'm sure most of us, everyone experienced such a traumatic phase in their own lives. I think COVID was a time that actually taught us that,
Yes.
don't go where the crowd is,
Always
All
looking
right?
for the silver lining. Huh.
Yes. Don't go where the crowd is. We take control of the situation, understand, and see where you want to go. And we were all at home, so like everyone else, even I was at home, and I was trying to do little things just to make myself
Exactly.
happy, because we were
Hmm.
in complete disconnect with the outer world. So the little things that we had to do had to bring meaning to my life. They had to be. So I think from there I understood positivity better. So adversity like COVID, I hope it doesn't happen again. But yes, I think it was one of the biggest teachers, not just for me, I think for everyone. Everyone
For
has learned
every
so much from this adversity called COVID
absolutely.
thing.
So
So we
positivity
should
through
not be scared.
adversity. Adversity.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Adversity happens in life because they are telling us something.
Yes,
That is
absolutely.
something which I keep telling my clients. It is happening for a reason we don't know now, but we will know it
Yes,
sooner or later. So
yes. And the moment
just
we
bear
realize
with
that
it.
we, yes, yes. Absolutely, ma'am. You've definitely given us that magic potion to positivity and imbibing that positivity in our lives. Thank you so much. And all the faculty members and the students, they've absolutely enjoyed your lecture today. Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful that my
Thank you so
positive
much.
psychology students, they would too be benefiting a lot. So what the next thing that I'll be doing after logging out is sending this link to my students. So thank you so
Yes,
much, ma'am. It
certainly.
was a pleasure to have you with
I would love to
us.
see the stars which the students plot. Please do share it. I'm more interested in
Definitely,
that.
definitely. I would ask them and then I'll share it. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a pleasure to be
Thank you
with
so
you
much.
today. All right. Have a
Thank
great
you. Have
day.
a nice day,
All right,
everyone.
faculty members and dear students, thank you so much for joining. It was wonderful to have you all. So now we'll take your leave.